Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendents who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis. I'm your host, Addison Davis. We are live from Seattle, Washington with Power School at the EDGE Conference. Thank you so very much, Abdullah, for being with us today. Really appreciate it. You know, here today as the Executive Director of Technology Information in Newark Public Schools in New Jersey. And I've got to say, you know, what a cool place to lead. And you have been there for 34 years as of yesterday. So what's going on with that? That's a long time.
Thanks for having me. Yes, that is in fact the case. Yesterday was my 34th anniversary.
Congratulations. I didn't make it that long, but congrats to you. It's, you know, when we talk about 34 years, and, you know, that's a long time. And you look at education today, every single day we're trying to create a longer, stronger bench of educators to come in and really help give children a sense of hope every single day. So for those who are listening, those who are watching, how did you make it 34 years? I mean, that's a long time. And your journey is remarkable, related to where you started to where you are today, leading some cool things in Newark Public Schools.
Yeah, so I started in 1990 as a systems analyst, sort of programmer, and worked my way into network administration. Established the first network in the district.
Wow.
We had 85 schools. I was a lead engineer in designing that network.
Wow.
Almost 10 months planning that out. And then we implemented it in August of 1998, in 1 month. So in 30 days, we did 85 schools.
Wow, we're going to launch, put it out, ready to go.
Switches, routers, pretty much everything.
Wow, infrastructure already have it.
No, we built the whole thing.
Oh, my gosh. So 10 months to plan, 30 days rock and roll. I mean, you must have had a suite of engineers that were remarkable.
We did not have that many. There's partners who worked with us, but it was a lot of planning. 10 months of intense planning.
Sure.
That got us there. And then from that point, we grew. So we put the first WAN connections in schools. At that time was really ISDN.
Yeah.
128.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Every year we added 4 ISDN lines per school. And then from that point, we went to T1 and EVPLs and moved up from that point to higher bandwidth in terms of connectivity from the schools to central office. But then we deployed applications after that.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey. It's been 34 years, but I've done a lot of work. with a lot of passion, I might say. If you have no passion, you cannot do what I do.
That's right.
For education and for really giving, being a public servant, you always want to help people, help others. Aside from technology, I've done other things as well in the district, including a lot of mentoring of high school students.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
So 50% of my staff is really former high school students that came through the system.
Wow.
Working for me, some of them were there for 20 years now.
Wow. We talk about sponsorship. We talk about mentorship. We're talking about giving back to the students that may need us the most. And what a rewarding story. Not only 34 years of driving the work in a district to create remarkable infrastructure, enhancements, but also technology enhancement. But what about, the systemic sense of hope that you've given children and students to not only go to school and know that you're there for them, but they want to come to work with you. Come to work, and we can often say students work, people work for us, they work with us every single day. And I know for certain that you've had, just for that alone, you've had tremendous impact in your community.
Yes, in fact, even right now, I have some interns in the office working.
Oh. Still a way to grow. For those who are watching, your way to grow, you're talking about growing a longer, stronger bench of IT leads. Let students who are so smart, sophisticated, and curious be a part of that process in the summer, because it just makes so much sense to allow them to navigate. And then those that go back to school can be problem solvers on staff if you decide you want to be able to leverage that way.
That is correct. Right now, I assign each of them to one of the network engineers. Somebody works in cybersecurity, somebody works in the help desk, somebody on the infrastructure, application development. They will work with these people. And then, I have lunch with them.
Yeah.
Different things. And then I ask them to write a weekly report of what they experienced.
Sure.
At the same time, I also critique their writings.
Yeah.
So I do pretty much everything.
Man of many trades. So let before I get into Power Schools, how you leverage it and how to use it, let's talk about the guy that's got some super swag in your district, right? So I do a lot of training, across the nation with superintendents, and I'm fortunate to be able to be leveraged by the council when they need me, and I got a chance every time that I see Roger. This dude's dressed up to the T, and he is always representing with a flat bill hat with Newark, and he just gets down, man. Good energy, focus, but you gotta kind of have some swag to be able to lead a school district nowadays.
That is correct. So I've known superintendent for almost 25 years, and he's always been like that. What he does, he knows the city, he knows the educational system, he knows people. So those are big factors. But he is driven. He likes to do things.
Yeah.
Passionate. He's always there. He's always awake.
Yeah.
And also, drives to move along, which is very good. In fact, when he came on board, we have now a 10-year strategic plan.
Yeah, wow, 10 years.
Yeah.
No, it's usually 3, 5.
Yeah, 10 years.
Wow, visionary with that process.
It's very visionary, yeah. And
bold, too.
Yeah, and for sure. The data element plays a significant role, because a lot of that, you can't have a 10-year plan without some kind of data-driven.
Sure.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's why we're implementing a lot of data warehouse. That's part of the strategic plan. So my work is in alignment with that strategic plan. That's why we're doing connected intelligence. Right.
Sure. Love it. When you spoke about, hey, Roger, if you're watching, man, we appreciate what you do. The job's not easy, and you did a really good job of making an awesome hire here, and we can see why there's a culture of care within your district. But you talk about data-driven, you talk about analytics, you talk about being able to put systems and processes in place for us to make informed decisions, sophisticated decisions. Power School shows up every day with that. And, talking and having conversations, Power School has been a major, supporter, vendor, partner, collaborator in the space with you. And, so what are some of the celebrations that you've seen as Power School shows up to be able to help leaders that will protect the working conditions of adults and help children?
So as I said, we have been using a school system. It goes back to where we had Columbia school system,
Yeah,
to McGraw school system, moved to SASE XP. So we've been a customer for a long time.
yeah.
So our database has a history of this stuff, like years of history in there. We have a dedicated team that provides support to Power School. They work very closely with my team. And I am pretty much in charge of the infrastructure and technology and make sure everything works together. But they
no easy task, by the way.
very closely together with the Power School team, with the data team, teams there, to make sure that systems are managed properly and people are using them effectively. Now we have a Schoology matters as well, and we recently deployed or implemented. We're almost about to implement connected intelligence.
Yeah, smart.
With the strategic.
All goes together.
Yeah. So we've been a customer Power School, and it's one of the two mother databases that we have. One being Power School that provides data about students,
sure,
and then we have PeopleSoft for almost 25 years,
sure,
to provide information about the staff. So the two systems that we use to feed almost 80 other platforms.
Wow, and we had some pre-conversation before jumping on this opportunity, and we talked about how so many school districts, Abdullah, they have so many different systems that don't talk to each other, that are working in isolation, that don't overlap. They're isolated partners and vendors or collaborators. It's so smart. I mean, talk about the sophistication about bringing all that in alignment, where one platform such as Power School owns a lot of what you do, because it's just all merges together and makes a lot of sense.
That is correct. So as part of our IT policy, we don't go with any system that doesn't support single sign-on, for instance.
Everybody listen to that does not support single sign-on.
We helped them get there.
Yeah.
Because when they show up, they don't have the I'm not taking
Yeah, right.
The only conditions you can work with us to get it implemented, then we'll take you on. But,
good for you.
We don't accept anything that has SSR. So that's the condition we have there. And then security plays a significant role.
Sure.
So I'm big on cybersecurity. In fact, I've invested a lot since COVID in cybersecurity.
Smart.
Going from $100,000 in the budget that we had to now that we spend almost $3 million.
Yeah, I was going to say probably millions in that, because that's a reality of it, right? And it's unfortunate, but we're faced with that all the time. Good for you for making that happen. And so as we, we're here at Edge, kick off today, general session, going to rock and roll till the 26th here in Seattle. Beautiful weather, by the way. And if you're coming to Seattle, do it from July 4th to Labor Day. You'll experience beautiful weather and no rain. But so what do you hope to obtain out of your time over the next couple of days?
So been talking to listening to a lot of people. We had some sessions with people from other districts.
Yeah, power.
Listening to, because I like to listen.
Yeah.
So I can't always be talking. What else they are doing, because the focus that we have in our district, we are, for instance, looking at AI. I've been looking at AI since 2019.
Sure.
Back when we did not have the Gen AI, we had mostly ML, machine learning based AI. We know that AI can help us solve a lot of the business issues. So right now we're focused on implementing AI in 3 areas.
Okay.
One is pedagogy.
Okay.
In that area, we're looking at 2 cases. One is to use it as assistive technology for teaching the students.
Okay.
Power by, for instance, in Schoology and Performance Matters as our next step there. And then we're looking also in the area of CT.
Okay.
To build a curriculum for an AI.
Love that.
So for students to engage and develop the AI.
Sure.
Be consumers, so that they produce more. The other areas we focused on, which we have been really working on since 2019, is on the business side, the business processes.
Okay.
Really leverage AI to enhance and optimize business processes, automate some of the stuff that are mundane, not just in the instructional space, but in the operational side. Because oftentimes people don't look at the impact of operational metrics on education. That is huge.
Major.
Looking at that. And then the third area is really on the network infrastructure and cybersecurity.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of staff.
Yeah.
So it's hard to hire engineers if you're a public school.
Sure.
And so there are things that we can do with AI that we can put in place to, for instance, automate some of the tasks, for instance, to help us with cybersecurity type issues there. And we're also about to deploy 6,000 cameras to provide safety to our school, better safety.
Wow. Say how many cameras again?
6,000.
Wow.
That's a huge.
That's bold.
Running right now, yes, with our security office.
That is awesome. And what would those cameras capture?
Well, they're designed. We have a legacy system right now.
Gotcha.
Space that
Sure.
aged, and we don't have coverage in many.
Yeah.
So this will really help us be more proactive in terms of dealing with safety and issues. That's primarily the goal. But what AI will do is it really help you when you don't have the staff to do things.
Yeah.
Right now, for instance, we have multiple systems. We have alarm systems for burglary. This will replace that now because you have cameras and you can control who can go where at what time. So if somebody shows up at midnight near your door, it pages the command center and alerts other people to that. We don't have that capacity right now. So it will help us a lot in those areas for safety. We are also integrating halos for vape.
Yeah, love that too.
Then gun detection, for instance, is there.
Wow.
That kind of stuff we're doing to improve safety there. But overall, again, AI, we use AI to really provide us with assistance where needed. I don't have staff here to look at 6,000 cameras. Right. So the command center we established in one of our buildings, they get live feed, and in fact, the features of this camera system allows them to really on the screen see where the trouble spots are. Right now they don't know that.
Sure.
It would actually brings up on the screen with the red says this camera in this building.
Wow.
Right now, deal with it.
Wow. So awesome. So smart. You know what? You just opened up a lot of things that I have to commend you for, because when we look at AI, we have to be able to embrace it, accept it, and leverage it. And we always talk about leadership. Leadership is a choice. And, we can't, there's many that are sitting on the sidelines determining whether or not AI how will it go? What do we do? There's no policies, guardrails, or policies being created, implemented, but not in Newark. For those who are watching, they are being champions of change for this work. And you talk about AI from generating lesson plans, to curriculum guides, to being able to personalize learning, to look at finances, to help augment with safety. It's so smart, and I have to commend you, because it's hard to say, you know what, superintendent, and listen, I led the 7th largest district in the nation, and people come to me, I need money to do this. And you have had the courage, the focus to be able to go to Roger and say, hey, we got to make this happen. And for him to say, you know what, it's a priority in our district, and let's rock and roll. And you're being trailblazers in this, so I thank you for that, without a doubt.
So speaking of that, right before COVID, almost about 3-4 weeks before we went remote, I said to Roger, my old-fashioned that we need to go remote. Like, okay, let's talk about it on Monday in the executive staff. I kept that text. We got to get prepared, right? And so we need devices, we need connectivity, we need all kinds of stuff. We acquired all that before anybody else did.
Wow.
So on
good for you.
2020, we went remote very smoothly.
Wow.
Because we had...
That was 2 weeks into it. 2 weeks fresh into it.
We already had run almost 3,000 WebEx sessions at the time.
Wow.
All kinds of rehearsal with teachers, doing all kinds of virtual sessions for the staff and teachers. In fact, we never went down even from the operational side. We purchased right away remote access cards for everyone who wanted to connect to the application. So departments from legal to purchasing to whoever HR had capacity to log on day one. The remote, they log on remotely, they doing their recs and POs and everything else.
That's cool.
No downtime whatsoever at that time. But what I did is at that time, I knew things were going to go back to what it used to be and things were changing. So we took advantage of the 18 months the kids were out, and we did a major network infrastructure.
Yeah, upgrade. Wow.
Went in there was no time limit.
Smart.
So we replaced
switch. It's the best time to do it.
Escape all the stuff that we need. And over time, I spent past 4 years, $24 million really on infrastructure upgrade, which by the way is almost like 20 years of work using E-rate funding.
Yeah, smart. Good for you.
E-rate funding is $6.5 million.
Yeah, 80% rock.
So you want $23 million.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work that we did. At this point, our next upgrades are due in 2030, which is in alignment with, again, the strategic plan.
Yeah, 10-year strategic plan. That's smart. Well, you know what? I can't thank you enough for being here today and telling me and sharing your journey. I mean, 34 years of how you've transitioned, get a chance to work with a superintendent that wants to be bold, wants to do cool things for kids every single day, but also the celebration that he, empowers you and trusts you to kind of lead the work. And from COVID to transition into AI to leveraging safety mechanisms with 6,000 cameras and really understanding using one platform like PowerSchool to do all the elements that you need to drive the work, and says a lot about who you are as a leader. So
with PowerSchool, with CI, we are working to bring other systems in, not just the PowerSchool use.
Yeah.
Next phase for me is to really transform the support service area.
Awesome.
Silos all over the place.
Yeah.
Food service with a system. We call about that system. We don't know who they are.
Yeah. These legacy systems, right?
They're all there, and we don't really have any notion of who is calling about service and how they're being placed, right? So I'm bringing all that under one umbrella so that they can call into one portal. We see data in one place.
So smart.
And just go in there and provide service, and then we take that data and ingest it into CI.
Yeah.
And then from that side, we use analytics and AI to generate huge types of dashboards that range from technology readiness to facilities issues to food service issues to student enrollment, to teacher absence.
Sure.
All in one place for Roger and them to see.
Smart. He's going to love that. They're going to love that.
That's all.
That may be good and bad.
I don't want to be a reporting business.
You're right.
Run reports. I think the smart thing is to provide that.
Yeah, that's right.
In the system for any stakeholder to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's smart, right? I mean, listen, it sounds like the vision for the 2030, closure of your strategic plan leads you and gives you plenty of time next couple of years to ramp up and fulfill those cool things you're trying to accomplish and become better every single day. And you have that vision to do it. So
that's very much. We actually have a framework for AI adoption. We put that together. There's 7 pillars in there.
Wow.
So we start with network, resilient network infrastructure, a good cybersecurity system. Those numbers.
Good.
Number 4 is enterprise data management. You have data all the time.
So you got a lot of these elements under your umbrella, right?
Was in business processes is number another one. Then we have adoption of ML by AI.
Sure.
Committee to look at those. We just can't get anybody's AI.
Yeah. That's correct. Do your work.
Data generation, right? You're going to put it all over the place. So you need to really be smart about that. I say AI is like, I read this somewhere. Someone said when I was 7, I thought my father knew everything in the world. And when I turned 12, I thought my father knew some things in the world. When I turned 16, I thought my father was the biggest idiot in the world. And I was growing older, and I was changing my opinion until I got to 50. And at that point, I had a first life crisis. I'm like, where is that old man I need?
Yeah, right. That's right.
The for us is like the way we're going is when it started in 2019, it was like the 7-year-old.
Sure.
By the time I got to 2021, it became the 12-year-old. Now it's a 16-year-old.
Sure.
It's just going crazy, right? He knows everything, but we know that we have to control it. So that's piece. And the last piece that we have on that framework is the retraining of users, so re-skilling people.
Yes, sir.
Things will change with AI. People need to know how to operate in that new paradigm.
Awesome. Well, listen, you've heard it today from an innovative, great leader from Newark Public Schools, Abdullah Ansari, who continues to drive the work for innovation, works collectively with his community, with his superintendent, to do special things for his children. 34 years, congratulations. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy your conference, and it was a delight to have the conversation. So keep doing cool things. Until next time, I'm Addison Davis, your host for Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis.